There's a proposal that drew outrage from Teamsters at meetings all across the country. The argument has been made largely moot. It was a plan that would cut their pensions, but it's been rejected. Business editor Rob Maloney is live with more on this. And Rob, the decision came from the feds.
Yeah, it was from Washington, D.C., and it was a bit of a surprise because a lot of people thought that they were going to lose their pension for sure as of this morning, but they had a news conference this afternoon. And we're here in Southgate, and it's neighborhoods like this where a lot of Teamsters live that we're expecting to take a major financial hit as a result of this problem.
Do you ever wear a hat or something that's really too heavy? Well, that's what it's like, taking that hat off.
I can't tell you how great it feels to not have this to worry about. So this has been great news.
Dennis and Rose Germain thought retired life would be quiet and happy. But a year and a half ago, they found out Dennis's Teamsters pension, earned over 40 years behind the wheel, could be lost. Dennis started leading rallies, traveling all around the country, writing letters and attending protests, fighting with all his might to keep the family's income that he'd worked so hard for intact.
For a year and a half now, that's all we've been thinking about. What are we going to do? You know, what are we going to do if we can't, if they cut our pensions?
It's just so difficult. I mean, he's worked so hard, and you know, this has just really been a trial for him and for us.
Dennis was there with hundreds of others at Wayne State University back in January to hear from Ken Feinberg, the guy in the black coat here, who Treasury brought in to determine whether a last-minute federal law change should allow the Central States Pension Fund to cut the pension. It was claiming that the system's upside down and that there are more retirees than there are Teamsters working, and that it can no longer afford to pay rich benefits once promised. Dennis and his friends won this round. Rose and Dennis could not be happier.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, thank God for sure.
Yeah.
Imagine that you would lose half of your income as of July 1st and not know what to do, and now they at least get to keep it for the time being, and that's the good news in all of this. Remember that we were the first to tell you about this back last summer, and it was one of those things that really hit these people, blindsided them really, and today Ken Feinberg, the special master, determined that the Central States Pension, which is no longer part of the Teamsters Union, it's a separate entity now, they didn't do a very good job of doing their investment calculations, and they think that the claims that they were making about their inability to pay were probably not correct. So, as it stands right now, they are not going to have to take the major pension cuts that were promised. Back to you.
Well, Rod, sometimes the end of the story on something like this really doesn't end up being the end of the story. Is this the last we're going to hear about this?
Well, certainly the Teamsters are hoping that's the case, but remember that when a pension fund says that they are largely insolvent, they're going to probably come back and try and figure out a different way around this thing. They were able to do a last-minute legislative move that got this thing passed in the first place because it goes around federal retirement law, change the law. Well, they're probably going to have to try something, and the expectation is from the Teamsters is that they'll be back before too long.
All right, Rod.